Weather portion of Ag Week now. There are once again signs of a pattern change. You may recall for the last couple of weeks, we've had a jet stream coming right out of the north across the northern plains. But the weather has not been really all that cold. Western high plains quite mild, Great Lakes area colder, but we really haven't had that surge of frigid air. And one of the reasons behind that is my second talking point tonight. Arctic air is kind of limited this year. There's been a lot of warm water. The Arctic Ocean is now mostly frozen over, but the ice extent is much less than it typically is at this time of year. And so there's just not as much cold air, not as many directions cold air can come from. Another thing that's been limiting the cold weather has been the fairly highly covered lack of snow cover across the northern plains region. You may recall going back to mid-November, there was a forecast of the winter outlook of below average to much below average temperatures across much of the northern plains and northern Rockies, with a forecast of generally mild conditions through the south and much of the Corn Belt with equal chances. Well, granted, it's only 2-3 weeks into December, but we have a ways to go before our winter will be below average. It's been cool the last few days. The jet stream pattern has dipped south finally, and there are some signs that we may get a stronger dip, but the cold weather has mostly just been lurking up there in Canada, and it's cold enough. I mean, if this air mass were to move south en masse, it would be below average across much of the country. Well, there are some signs sometime after midweek we may finally see a change to more of a troughiness along the west coast and the jet streams, which does a couple of things. It's going to pull some of that cold air back southward, and it may eventually open up the chance for some southwest to northeast moving weather systems, which are more prolific moisture and snow producers in the Midwest. We'll see. This week is not looking especially wet, except Mississippi River Valley southeast and then parts of the Atlantic will be getting some rain and snow. Some parts of the Pacific Northwest will get some snow as that troughiness builds in, and through the middle just scattered quick lightning fast swaths of mostly light snow with not much moisture. And that's really all we're looking for this week. I foresee the possibility of the cold weather lingering and maybe getting a little bit colder around the region over Christmas week, probably concentrated Great Lakes. But some of this is going to be some below zero air, it looks like to me. So that's one thing that will be a little bit different for the last week of the year. And I think in that cold air, there could be some snowfalls coming out across the plain states. Probably not huge moisture producers, but maybe finally some measurable snow. Hasn't been that cold so far. Arctic air has been limited, but there are some signs that we may finally be getting some snow and some cold air right around time for the holidays, of course, perhaps leading to a colder January.